Listen, y'all listen to these numbers, please. A new report reveals that the government of Jamaica paid £185,659 British pounds. Is Jamaica ready to spend $500 million to fight Vybz Kartel and the rest of his co-accused? Alright, make sense out of nonsense. Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Let's make some sense out of this nonsense. I spoke about this on social media, on YouTube actually, on a live video we did the 1st of July. The 1st of July. We go live in the morning and I'm talk about it already. But I have to speak about it again. And I have to speak about it again because in a more detailed manner, because a lot of people probably missed it because it was an hour and a half long video, and this piece about the Vybz Kartel situation was lost in the video because it was our third topic of the morning. So if you didn't watch till 45 minutes into the video, you probably missed this. But this video today is only about this foolishness and that's going on. You know, I have to ask myself, like, is it really worth it, Jamaica? I understand that you hate Vybz Kartel so much, and I understand that you want him to be in prison so badly. But I have never seen the Jamaica justice system or judicial system go after an individual with this much vigor and strength and using up all their resources to pursue this. This is weird to me. This is super weird to me, and it is showing the world actually that there is more to this than them just seeking justice. Because if this was the case, they would have went this hard at every friggin' case out there. So why choose this one and just go this hard at this one? I want to listen to the money, you know. We're going to follow the money this morning and watch how the money move. Shout out to Dancehall Mag, because Jamaica Gleaner was the one that released this information, but it was on their premium, which you have to pay for. So apparently Dancehall Mag paid for it. My account, something wrong with it, pan Gleaner, or Gleaner blocked me, I don't know, but I'm not able to access the information even though I paid for it. So I ended the card that paid for it, right? But shout out to Dancehall Mag again for bringing it to us. So let's get right into the story. So Jamaica has already spent millions of dollars opposing dancehall artist Vybz Kartel. I want y'all to listen to this. Jamaica has already spent millions of dollars opposing dancehall artist Vybz Kartel and his co-accused murder conviction appeal in the United Kingdom. And the final bill could reach much higher. Jamaica is opposing his appeal. The man says he is not guilty and he's coming out because he's not guilty, and he's willing to fight all the way to the highest courts to get his conviction overturned, to get out of prison, and he's been using all his resources to do just that. Now, a new report that was revealed that the government paid. Listen, y'all listen to these numbers, please. A new report reveals that the government of Jamaica paid £185,659 British pounds. 185,659 British pounds. That's 36.2 million Jamaican dollars. And guess who they paid that to? They paid that to the British lawyers who argued against the appeal before the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council, or JCPC. This includes £48,138, 9.3 million Jamaican dollars that was paid last year for the defense's unsuccessful application to introduce new evidence. Now, an additional 137,521 pounds and 80 pence. That's another 26.8 million Jamaican dollars was paid in April again, on top of the 185,659 pounds, which is 36.2 million. And this 137,000, these numbers, all my tongue a twist up. You know, one time them used to say Sally style seashell down by the seashore. You know when them used to say Sally style seashell down by the seashore, and they used to give you the tongue twisters them. If a woodchuck could chuck, would a woodchuck chuck? If a woodchuck could, I still feel like I said these numbers. I feel this is crazy. This is crazy. They must super hate this dude to be spending all this money. An additional 137,521 British pounds. I remember, I know Jamaica money already no worth much, you know, especially compared to the British pounds. It's $150 something to one. And we talking US dollars, and the British pound is more. Just Google it and say, hey Google, or how much is one British pound in Jamaica? Matter of fact, since we're here on this video right here, let me do it for you, because some people too lazy and them not gonna do it. How much is one British pound in Jamaican dollars? Sita.
1 pound equals 196 Jamaican dollars and 80 cents.
See that? One British pound is 196 Jamaican dollars. Almost 200 Jamaican dollars for one British pound. And they spending 137,521 British pounds. 137,521. Plus another 185,659. So in Jamaican money, you have $36.2 million plus another $9.3 million. That comes up to $63 million and change. Over $60 million already. And that was paid in April for the core appeal arguments, according to data that was obtained by the Gleaner from the Finance Ministry's compensation unit. So this is not us making these numbers up. This is us taking these numbers from them and telling it to you, the public, right? The Privy Council ultimately overturned the murder conviction in March, stating that the decision to keep a tainted juror was fatal to the verdict. It was an impure verdict because you had tainted jurors. Now, the London court had also ordered Jamaica to cover all the legal costs for Vybz Kartel. So, we're at 63 million already, right? And then now they must cover the legal costs for Vybz Kartel. Now, if you match Vybz Kartel's legal costs to what they spent, the Jamaican government spent to fight him, you would easily have 126 million Jamaican dollars right there already, which the Jamaican government will have to pay. Now, their attorneys are still calculating these costs, which, according to Gleaner source, could reach above 150. So I was being modest and saying 126. They're saying it could easily reach above 150 million Jamaican dollars. If the government disputes the cost, the Privy Council will determine the final amount. If the government disputes the cost, the Privy Council will determine the final amount. Now, what this means is this. The attorneys, you got to remember, it's Vybz Kartel, it's Sean Storm, it's Kahir, and Vybz Kartel, Sean Storm, Kahir St. John, and you know the name them. I've forgotten the names already. But the four guys, it's four of them. And between all four of them, there are multiple attorneys. Now, all these attorneys have to be paid. And among them are King's Counsels, which is at a higher level of pay. So they are calculating at the moment how much they're going to charge, actually. And now that the Jamaican government has to pay it back, these guys have all authority in the world to say, you know what, since they're gonna pay it back, you know, it's like me that gonna give you a discount, you know, cause I'm a brethren still, and my sister them a fight you. Me can't work for free cause I have my family for feed, but I'm gonna give you a discount. So I gonna charge you 50 mil. But then an order came down that says King Charles said Jamaica must foot the bill. Now when King Charles said Jamaica must foot the bill, suddenly, you know what, you have a brethren still, but about 150 million may I charge you, cause I know you are pay for it. And them boy the way I fight you are pay for it. Y'all see that? So this is how the numbers could rise and become enormous and crazy. Now, you can calculate 36 million times 4 because none of the King's councils representing Kartel and his co-accused will want less than what the government has paid. And they have junior lawyers to pay as well, the source said, which is only fair. You can't go all the way over to England and pay somebody £185,000 and then you come back over here to me and I'm of the same profession and you're like, me not like you. Here's £20,000 or here is £50,000. Nah, you pay me the same thing that you pay him, right? And that's base level. That's understandable. Can they afford that? Can they really afford that? Can Jamaica really afford this? And this is not, we haven't even talked about a retrial yet and the cost of a retrial. We're just talking about this now as it is. We're in the month. Today is the 2nd of July. Today is the 2nd of the month that they said from the appeal courts that we will be hearing. Yeah, we're supposed to be hearing soon what happens next, right, in the Vybz Kartel case. This is the month that the appeal court said, listen, you will hear by the last day of this month what is going to happen next. Now, what could happen next is a bunch of different things. They could decide to retry them. Remember, you know, Kartel is in there still, and his case was expedited by the Privy Council, who saw it necessary to expedite this case based on the fact that his health is in a critical place at the point. Here we are, Jamaica gets it back, and at the appeal level, instead of doing the right thing and trying to make amends and right their wrongs, they're sitting on their hands and relaxing and just burning up time. Meanwhile, he's incarcerated and he's not getting the proper medical care that he needs, right? I honestly feel like, and I did a video on this before, that their goal was to kill Vybz Kartel in prison. But they can't do it in a manner in which him just dead. Like them burn him up in a cell like Jim Brown or something. It would be Ross to pay in Jamaica, and I'm not asking anybody, I'm telling you that, right? We all live in the same Jamaica, so all who think them untouchable, them still touchable. You understand? Read between the lines. But bigger than that though, Jamaica was represented by British attorney Peter Knox KC and a junior colleague of his, and both instructed by the law firm Charles Russell Speechless. These are the people who they went over to the UK and paid all that money to in order to try to get Vybz Kartel to stay in prison. Now, and Sean Storm, Kahir St. Jones, and Andre St. John. Those are the names. I forgot the names earlier. Those are the names of the guys. Kahir St. John, Andre, Kahir, Sean, me not say their name again. Let me stop this. Because I'm trying to do too much at once, right? So, if you watch the Privy Council case, when they were hearing Vybz Kartel's case at Privy Council, because the Privy Council made it so everybody could see it. They didn't have anything to hide. If you watch that case unfold, remember the guy, the heavyset attorney, British attorney, that got up and spoke on behalf of Paula Llewellyn them? This is the guy that scraped away all that money. Him and his junior colleague. So if you can pay him that much, then Isaac Buchanan and the rest of them, and they beat you at Privy Council, they're definitely worth their money as well, right? Now, Jamaica was represented by them. Kartel and his co-accused hired, this is the part where it gets sticky, for Jamaica to pay the money back. Because Kartel and his co-accused, they hired 3 King's Counselors from England and several Jamaican attorneys for the appeal. His attorneys were David Hislop, KC, King's Counsel, Isaac Buchanan, and Alexandra LaBeach, who were instructed by Simons, Muirhead, and Burton LLP. Sean Storm Campbell, attorneys included Julian Malins, KC, Bert Samuels, Thalia Maraj, and Linda Hudson, and Bianca Samuels, and Isaac Buchanan as well. Andre St. John and Kahira Jones were represented by Hugh Southey, KC, another King's Counsel, John Clark, James Robotham, and Anirudh, I apologize for murdering your name, A-N-I-R, Anirudh Mathur. That's another name. It doesn't matter what the pronunciation of the name was, just know say another attorney was on the case as well. So they will all have to be paid. And at this point, they will all have to be paid by the Jamaican government, who is trying to keep Vybz Kartel incarcerated. A senior government insider defended the payments, citing the complexity of the case, which involves 4 accused persons, each represented by at least 2 attorneys, and over 6,000 pages of legal arguments. The insider added that the legal challenge was Jamaica's biggest appeal in the last 20 years, involving extensive preparation and several different applications beyond the 2-day televised hearing in February that we witnessed. So there was a lot of preparation and work going on behind the scenes, and those hours of preparation are not for free. These attorneys will charge for that, and you have to pay for that. A lot of preparation would have gone into the different issues that arose, and not only in relation to Vybz Kartel, but the other accused persons. And there were several different applications that were made as well, and those cost money. Now, since the Privy Council's ruling, the Jamaica Court of Appeal held a 6-day hearing in June to determine whether Vybz Kartel and his co-accused could face a second trial for the 2011 murder of Clive Lizard Williams. Let me go back to the top of this. I think at some point people are going to have to start to check their ego. What I notice about Jamaica is this. I'm a Jamaican myself. And what I notice about Jamaica is this. Nobody in position of authority or leadership has ever, in all my years, it was just recently that I saw some person at some level of authority, I believe it's within the Jamaica Constabulary Force, that came out and apologized publicly. Nobody in Jamaica's leadership has ever come out to apologize. They're not a set of people that accept their wrongs. They're a set of people that think that they are always right. They hide their mistakes and pretend that somebody else caused the mistake, or it wasn't me, like Shaggy said, or them never have nothing to do with it because it didn't work out properly. But they have never come out and said, you know, we blundered. We made a mistake here. We made a grave error. We should have seen that, and we're going to tighten up the issue so we don't do it again. Somebody like that I can always respect. If you fail to realize that you have a problem, then guess what? You will never be able to find a solution to that problem. Number one move, first move to finding a solution to a problem is to first admit that there is a problem. So if them people here will never admit that they blundered, they made a mistake, and somehow there has to be retribution, even though you are bent on getting justice, which I don't think they are. I just think it's egos that are speaking now, and it's cover-up that's going on now because they have to save face now. You have to come out and say, damn, you know, at this point, yeah, we made a mistake, let's clean it up. Now, during the hearing, the acting director of public prosecution, Claudette Thompson, she told the Court of Appeals, this is the person who is sitting in for Paula Llewellyn, she told the Court of Appeals, the leading judge, she told the Court of Appeals that the state would have to just bear the expenses. Mind you, 150 million plus gone already, and the state would just have to bear the expenses for a retrial. Now, if they take this case to a retrial, right, and this case goes back to Privy Council, because it can go back to Privy Council for all those who are asking, it can be, if they grant a new trial, then there is a new pathway to fight this all the way back to Privy Council again. And based on so many different things that happened in this case, there is grounds for it to be fought all the way back to Privy Council again. So, with that said, is Jamaica ready to spend $500 million to fight Vybz Kartel and the rest of his co-accused? $500 million is what they're looking at. $500 million. Could take into consideration if they grant a new trial and they take this back to trial and they fight it all the way to Privy Council and it ends up being the same result again, that it gets overturned, which I firmly think it will because of all the other stuff that we've talked about over the years, to include the fact that the policeman took the phone out of evidence, used it for his personal use, then put it back in evidence, and that piece of heavily tampered equipment was admitted into evidence and used against these men to convict them. A lot of y'all think it's only some tampered jewelry stuff. Right, but it's not. There are other things there. And we will be watching the same results on play over again. Now, if it happens like this again, and the same orders come down for Jamaica to foot the bill, are y'all ready to pay $500 million, if not more, to keep these guys behind bars? Let me close this video by saying this. One, I think granting a retrial would be one of the stupidest things that they could ever do. But they're known for doing stupid things and acting like they did the right thing. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. And I say it with the utmost respect. You know what I mean? And I have to put this in there all the time. I spent 10 years in the military. I know how to respect a position, but not the person in the position, because that's what you had to do in the military a lot. And those of you who serve in uniform, whether it's the JCF or JDF or in government, you know what it means to respect the position, but not the person in the position. You can respect the Prime Minister's position, but not that guy who is currently a Prime Minister. You can respect a teacher position, but not Miss Jones as a teacher, because you know she or that woman differently. You understand? So we respect positions, but we don't respect certain people who are in those positions. Just to break it down for you like that. Now, again, I think there should not be a retrial. I think if there is a retrial, it will be another huge blunder, and it will enforce even more that this is really not about justice anymore, because Jamaica has never looked at the forecast of the cost of any case and said, blood fire, this is going to cost us about $500 million with a B dollars, and say, okay, let's pursue it. $500 million, we have the money there, and if we lose, we spend the next $500 million. A whole billion. Do you know how many things need to be done in Jamaica? I don't need to go down the list. I would like you, the audience, to go do some research. Do some research on our healthcare system. Do some research on the squabble that just came up the other day about neonatal care for infants and newborns. Do some research on what's going on with children at the children's hospitals. Do some research about the ventilators. Do some research about proper space and hygiene and supplies in our public hospitals. Do some research about, I mean, the list could go on and on about things that we can use this money to take care of and make a change in our society. And let me add to this, that from the time that Vybz Kartel and the rest of the guys, Sean Storm, Andre St. John and Kahir Jones, now that my brain is more settled, I can say all the names. Now, but from the day that those guys were locked up until today, right? And today is the 2nd of July, 2024. From the day they were locked up until today, let's do a simple estimate of maths. Jamaica easily does over 1,000 murders every year. If you show me 1 year in the last 10 to 12 years that we did less than 1,000, I'll be very shocked because I haven't seen it. Jamaica does over 1,000 murders every single year. So it's safe to say that if those guys have been locked up for 13 years, then that's over 13,000 Jamaicans that have been murdered since that time. Now, I would even go as far as to say, because some of the years we did 1,600, 1,100, 1,350, 1,500, I would put my neck out on a limb to say that the proper number is somewhere in the 15,000. From the time Vybz Kartel has been incarcerated with the rest of the guys until today, it's been over 15,000 Jamaicans that have been murdered. Let that sink in. Over 15,000. Nobody is pushing and spending up all our resources and paying all the money to fight all these people who we think killed those 15,000 people. So why is it so important to pursue this one guy or this one guy and his cronies? What is this about? What is this about? Because this is way beyond just being about justice. Way beyond. I'm going to leave that right there for y'all. Again, go over to Dancehall Mag. Big up to Dancehall Mag for putting this one out for us so we could use it as a point for our argument's sake. But the numbers are 185,659 pounds, British pounds. And then on top of that, another 137,521 pounds and 80 pence. That's 36.2 million Jamaican dollars and another 26.8 million Jamaican dollars spent. That's money spent already, and they still have not paid off Vybz Kartel's side, which they've been ordered to pay. Oh man, you know, I'm out, man. I'll catch y'all on the next video. Big up on yourself. Walk good and go with God. Here. All right, I'm out. Peace.